This storm has caused some real problems here. We've been without power for about 4 days now. Here it is, Christmas Day, and as you can see, there's trees down everywhere. It seems to be most everybody has abandoned where they're staying and gone to motels, friends' homes who may have, friends or family who may have heat or power still, maybe backup generators. And I can tell you that in our living room it's about 26 degrees. We've seen the transformers just blow up. When I was driving to work one morning, while I was at work, it's pretty bad, and they're not expecting us to actually have our power restored, and this is based on pure estimate. They're not actually expecting us to have our power restored until Saturday, so that'll put it at 6 days before we're actually able to get our power back on. It's pretty disappointing to say the least. It really is. Kind of an idea of what's going on here. It's a good thing these trees didn't fall into the buildings themselves. You can see here some more trees look like they're about ready to come down. That's not a place I would definitely park, or definitely wouldn't park there. Here's one that came down. I don't know if anyone was actually parked there, but that definitely would mess up your day. There's no doubt about that. But this is pretty much the way it is everywhere, and this is the kind of stuff that I've only read in news, you know, the newspapers and seen on TV about these ice storms that happen. And we've been pretty lucky here where we're at. I don't remember any Christmas being without power. And even when we did get a bad storm, usually our power comes on that day. There's a work truck going by there. They're everywhere. It's Christmas Day. They contracted a bunch of people. They're paying people a lot of money, so I got a pretty fair amount of respect for the people who are out right now trying to get the power back up and running for everybody, because they're not with their families right now. They're doing everything that they can, and yeah, it's a real mess. There's no doubt about it. This is horrible, but you know, that's what Mother Nature gives us. Hopefully we'll get everything fixed up here by the end of the week. So after 5 full days, here it is about 6:30 on Thursday, and it was about this time on Sunday morning when we lost our power. So 5 full days and we were without power. And it was pretty miserable for the first 3 days or so. Didn't have a generator or anything else. And we ended up getting some wind Christmas Eve, which wasn't too good, but it actually, the trees fared quite well, even with the wind. So here it is Thursday. Finally got our electricity back. Let's see. I guess technically it wasn't out for a full 5 days because it actually came on around midnight this morning. But I have to applaud and thank the crews who spent the day putting things back together on Christmas, and they were obviously making a sacrifice being without their family. I know some were contracted up to help with the restoration, and there's still quite a few. Here it is Thursday. There's still quite a few people who don't have power. The last time that I looked at the outage map, it was still pretty bleak, but they've estimated that about half of those who lost power have regained that power. So the crews have been working definitely triple time to get this taken care of. The trees are still kind of low. You can see them leaning on some power lines. We're getting a bunch of snow today, which is probably going to weight them down a little bit more, but it won't be nearly as bad as when we were actually getting the ice. And thinking back to Sunday when I was driving in, and it wasn't that bad, and in a matter of about 6 hours or so, all of the rain had frozen onto the trees and caused all this damage. I hear about this stuff on the news, down south, way up north, and it's actually kind of, you just don't believe it until it happens to you. And the only other time I remember being without electricity for more than a day was when I was really little, probably about 7 or 8, and there was a bunch of tornadoes that had rolled through. They took out quite a bit of the grid, and I think it was out for about 3 days. That's the worst that I've ever had it. So, and that wasn't really that bad when you think about it, because there was heat. You didn't have to worry about freezing to death. So this is definitely the worst in my memory that I've ever experienced, and we just got the crappy end of the stick, because about 30 miles south it was just rain, nothing freezing, and then about 35-40 miles north it was all snow, no rain. So we just got the crappy end of the stick, and it went in a northeasterly direction, so we, like I said, we were the sweet spot for it. Now we're getting a bunch more snow, and it's tough to tell where on the road I am. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna stop. No way I was gonna stop. Hopefully a cop didn't see that. Anyway, so it's the day after Christmas right now, and I'm actually driving to my mom's to not only get my cat, but get all my clothes and so on that I had, there. For the first 3 nights, I stayed at home, and I was able to deal with it. Where I work, the room that I work out of is about 38 degrees. So I'm pretty used to that kind of condition, but when it got below freezing in the living room, I knew that it was time to figure out another place to stay. And it ended up getting down to, I think, outside it got down to about 8. And of course, it got pretty close to that, at our place, just because there was no heat from anywhere. So eventually, you're going to lose whatever heat you have left. And of course, because of the 3 miserable days I slept in the cold, I'm starting to develop a cold myself. You can see some of these lights. Basically, when they turn them on, they're in, what I'm told, I'm not an expert anyway, but I'm told after a power outage, they go into fail-safe mode, especially for this long. This light here just came on yesterday as I was driving home from Christmas. And so I've been told that when they've been out for that long, they go into like a fail-safe mode where they just blink red like that to make sure that people are actually stopping. And when we first got our power outage the very first night, I didn't have it on camera, but there were some real assholes on the road because they're supposed to treat a four-way, or excuse me, a light that's out as a four-way stop. That's just, you know, common knowledge if you're a driver. And a lot of people were basically just blowing right through the lights, assuming that they didn't have to stop because there was no red or green or anything else. It was just dead. And I wish I would have got it on camera because somebody almost sideswiped me. I had stopped and I was turning right, and they were coming across from the opposite direction, and they never bothered to stop. They just kept on going. And if it wasn't actually for them getting over into the left-hand lane, they would have hit me. But 100% it would have been their fault because they didn't even bother to stop at all. It was just go right on through. So, and with that kind of damage, the cop would definitely be able to tell that they were going at a pretty good speed. It wasn't as if they were just starting out at the light and I had just pulled out in front of them, because they would have been able to stop. So, but anyway, yeah, we're supposed to get another inch or two of snow here, and fortunately, most of the electricity in the downtown areas, heavily traveled areas, has been restored. So I'm pretty happy about that. You know, I know that some of these guys who had to work in this condition on Christmas Day, I know they're probably pretty bummed out, but you know, that's kind of a sacrifice, unfortunately, for them that they have to make in order to do their job. And being on call, I know what that's like. Even some of the worst days, being on call sucks, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. You got to put food on the table. You got to have a job. So this video is going to be 10 minutes long. I've got nothing else really to say. I'm going to put a bunch of videos up that of before the storm, during the storm, and then after the storm, which is now, and I'll let you guys know exactly what's going on. So I get some more videos up.